Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Sword Art Online Alicization, which is on episode 16. Now, this episode right here looks really simple, and not gonna lie, some reason I feel somewhat disappointed. Now, all you guys might be wondering, hold up, why are you feeling like somewhat disappointed or maybe disappointed right now? I'll get to that once I finish my recap, etc., but kind of felt a little short here and there. Not much for certain. But like I said, I'll give you guys my details why I felt disappointed or somewhat disappointed about this episode. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We had to it that Kirito managed to use his enhanced armament and able to blast Fanatio or whatever the hell her name is to oblivion. Well, not oblivion, but to a point to knock her out unconscious, but she's bleeding hard. Kirito is always all about hell-bent about saving her because of what just happened, and all because of that freaking chieftain of this church-leading organization whatsoever you could call it. And we see to it that Kirito gives Yujiro something so he could heal up the two girls that are paralyzed, but tell him to destroy their swords, etc. Or daggers or anything else suspicious. Of course, we see to it that Yujiro does not like the idea of saving these people and they are just evil. But Kirito knows the entire thing and knows what's going on thanks to Cardinal or to what he understands. So that's why Kirito decides to give up his dagger that he was supposed to save for later and to save Fanatio, knowing that there has to be something he could do in order to save her. I'm thinking in my mind, dang it, Kirito, I understand, Doc, but you got too much of a good heart, man. But he is what he is, whatsoever, however you want to call it. But aside from that, we see to it that the administrator, the little short lolly mage girl whatsoever, decides to help Kirito out and maybe save Fanatio from death. So it'll take some time, but she's still be able to do it. Eventually, we see to it to the next scene. We see to it that some girl that operates some kind of levitating elevator whatsoever decides to take him up to the floor. They end up talking to her for a bit, and she does not have much of a personality because of what the freaking leader of the Axiom Church did to her, you know. But if she had a wish right now, if everything is to be destroyed, I will see to it that I could try to fly around this thing in the sky. I'm thinking in my mind, well, yeah. And then they go to the next door or next room of the Integrity Knight, and it was actually Alice herself. And we see to it that Alice tells him to wait a bit as she is going to enjoy the weather a bit. And unfortunately, Kirito and Yujiro try to go after her after Alice says, I'm gonna have to take you guys out myself, seeing how threatening you guys are. She therefore grabs the tree, touches the tree, and it turns into her sword, and she actually used it to its full potential to a point where she's able to knock out Kirito and Yujiro, etc. Well, not knock them out, but knock them aside or push them aside, and tells them that are you trying to mock me, etc. Blah blah blah. And realizing, knowing that she's very strong and terrifying, Kirito decides to take her on one-on-one and asks Alice about her sword. Because, their goal is to knock out Alice, put into a deep sleep so they don't have to fight her whatsoever. And we see to it that after Kirito asks about Alice's sword, she therefore explains that this thing or this sword was created from its first creation, blah, 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 whatsoever. Like, it was placed of beginning bestowed upon humans by Stasia, the goddess of creation, and then, something about everlasting eternity that it has its attribute on. Not to mention, it was the first creation, if I had to say it myself. Pretty much this thing was created when humans were around, and it was the first divine object, however you want to call it, whatever it is. But aside from that, we see to it that Kirito challenges her to a one-on-one duel. So they end up exchanging sword blows, and it looks like to me it looks really terrifying because when Kirito tries to strike Alice with his sword, Alice just blocks it, and Kirito just bounces back, and he goes like, "What the hell?" Even I just go like, "Oh my gosh!" I had a feeling Alice would be strong, but either she is strong herself, or two, her her ability to use the sword to her full potential is able to like push Kirito back, and Kirito barely has any time to react due to Alice's like technique and strength whatsoever. Although Kirito did block one of Alice's final blows that was meant to kill him, Kirito managed to barely slide away and restrain Alice, and Yujiro ended up using his enhanced armament of a blue sword to encase Kirito and Alice in ice. And Yujiro tries to use the dagger that he was given to maybe knock out Alice, but unfortunately, Alice's perfect control armament of her sword was able to break out of it and tells Yujiro to wait as she will take him on later. And we see to it that Kirito uses his enhanced armament against Alice's enhanced armament, and things kind of got a little hectic here and there. After two of the sword beams or sword energies clash against each other, they end up blasting a hole right next to them on the wall that they were at, and they get flown out. As Yujiro tries to go out to Kirito and Alice, unfortunately, the hole in the wall seals up. And I'm thinking in my mind, are you dang serious? What the living dude? Yeah, call me crazy about it. And the episode ends off there, and the next episode will be called Truce. Now to get on to somewhat of my disappointments. The sword fight, etc., was kind of short, and I thought it was supposed to be a little bit longer. Like the way how it went in this episode, it's been like only like couple minutes of like somewhat dialogue and simple sword clashing, and Alice showing off her sword abilities of perfect control armaments with her tree sword whatsoever, or divine first object sword, however you want to call it. Not to mention, I think some art detail seems a little bit low at some point when Kirito and Alice were kind of clashing against each other when they got to that water part of that room, etc. And yeah, it just felt a little bit short. Nothing much really happened, honestly. And yeah, the fight was pretty disappointing. Felt way too short, honestly. Either this studio is just not putting enough effort and just waiting for the right moment to give it all they got, or I don't know what the case is. But yeah, I think the animation quality looks fine, but in terms of certain art detail here and there, it seems a little bit off. But like I said, it was like somewhat or just disappointing in general. I mean, felt too short, etc. of that sword fight. I thought it should be a little bit longer, but it felt not like nothing, just only a couple seconds passed by of just simple sword fighting if you just cut out the dialogue. What am I supposed to say? So yeah, call me crazy or not or something, but please confirm with me, to those who are SAO fans, that was this fight supposed to be a bit longer, or was what it is supposed to be? So until then, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!